Hello, Eagles fans. I'm Chris McPherson, and welcome to our continuing coverage of Super Bowl 52 here on PhiladelphiaEagles.com. And yes, Eagles fans might be a little surprised.
You know, they don't want to see me on talking about Philly right now. I feel a little bit of heat from the Philly fans.
Are you
right
feeling
now,
the heat, DeMarcus?
But I'm actually for the NFC, and I'm for you guys, so let's get it.
This is DeMarcus Ware. In case you didn't know, the all-time sack leader in Dallas Cowboys history. You did have to leave to win a Super Bowl, though,
Yeah,
to
for sure.
the Denver Broncos.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, like, the Dallas Cowboys, they gave me, my start, my beginning, but, we tried to pull it out every time, but we couldn't. And, business happens, and you go to another team to win a Super Bowl.
We have respect for you, I think.
For
That's
sure.
the thing. We don't look at you in the same vein as like a Tony Romo or a Deion Sanders. I think it's not as much dislike for you as opposed to other Cowboys in franchise history. What were some of your favorite moments before we get into the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl? What was some of your favorite moments of battling the Eagles over the years?
You know what the thing is, man? Each one of those games, it was like one of those rivalry games, and you play lights out for 60 minutes. And Jason Peters going against him every single week. He was a freaking horse out there. And, with McNabb, right? Chasing him all around the field. I can remember all those memories when he came to Dallas, and he was one of the hardest guys to sack. And then all of a sudden it's crazy, but when Foles came in, right?
Yep.
And then when Vic was running around, I'm like, man, how many quarterbacks are they going to have right now that can run the football, run those read plays, and do what they do? And now, man, just to see how y'all progress, even with, Carson Wentz being out and how great y'all team have been, team camaraderie, getting past all the injuries that y'all had this year, and now having the opportunity to win a Super Bowl is big.
DeMarcus, how important is team chemistry? Because a lot of teams could have lost some of those guys like Jason Peters, Jordan Hicks throughout the course of the year before you even get to Carson Wentz and fold it. Then you could lose Wentz and completely say, you know what, this season's not going to happen. It's not in the cards for us.
Right.
How important is chemistry to getting to the big game?
When you go into the OTAs and mini camp and training camp, you always, you figure out what the team is about, right? And then throughout the seasons, you're going to have your up and down, your lows when you lost Sproles, when you lost Hicks, when you lost Jason Peters. I mean, the list goes on. Then when you lost Wentz, nothing ever faltered because the guy that was before them, helped out that second guy. So now when he stepped up, you can see that it just kept playing. It kept going right. And they didn't lose that chemistry at all because all those guys are together, and that's what they wanted, and that's win the championship.
So speaking of winning a championship, like I mentioned, you had to go to Denver to win the Super Bowl. So when you finally got to the big game, after all those years in Dallas, did you feel like, I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself, but this is it. This could be my one and only chance to get that elusive ring?
You have to think that way because you can go into the next year like we did with Denver, and you don't win that game.
Yep.
You still have the same roster. It's just like one of those magical moments. Things happen like they should. People always say, you guys had a lot of injuries, but it doesn't matter. Talking about the Philadelphia Eagles,
of course,
you still made the Super Bowl. That's what you guys wanted. So now it's like this is a must-win type game, no matter what the situation is. And, I think you guys can pull it out.
What's your message to the players who are going there for the first time? Fortunately, there are players like Malcolm Jenkins who has been there and won the big game before. But for the guys, the veterans who are going there, and this could be their one and only chance. Hopefully it's not, cross your fingers. But for those guys, what would be your message to them?
Like you said, it can be their one and only chance. But this is their one time, and it could be their only time to make the Super Bowl. I mean, you've seen the stories already. Now you're here. I mean, what are you going to do with what you have right now? Because this is the only time you have. You have 28 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours to get ready for this football game. Put all the family behind you. You know what? Put them to the side for right now. You focus on whatever you need to do to win this football game because it's a must-win, and you don't know when you're going to get it back. On
your way to winning the Super Bowl with the Broncos, you did beat the Patriots. So what do the Eagles have to do? Because it's the same cast of characters led, of course, by Tom Brady.
You know, the thing is, it's the same cast of characters when you talk about Bill Belichick and you talk about Brady. They're robotic. They are going to play for 60 minutes. But I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles, they have the blueprint to win this football game because of Fletcher Cox and Barnett and, Jernigan and Long, all those dudes that can apply pressure, but also guys in the backfield, meaning the corners, they can actually cover. So if they can apply consistent pressure on Brady the whole football game, not 59 minutes, I want 61 minutes. They can win this football game. I know they can do it.
I certainly think the Atlanta Falcons would agree with you in this Jacksonville from a couple weeks ago.
Because you see at the end, right at the end, all the teams are usually winning or in the football game, and the last 2 minutes left, they end up closing the football game out on them. And what they have to do is play, not just because you see 2 minutes and maybe we can run the clock out. No. You put the pedal to the metal, and you do not let up until the clock says, the game is over.
So, DeMarcus, we can see you on NFL Network throughout the course of the week, NFL Network Live at 1 p.m. leading up to the Super Bowl, and you're going to be part of the insane 8.5 hours of pre-game coverage there, so it's going to be phenomenal. So make sure to check NFL Network for everything they have to offer. So, DeMarcus, you're supporting the NFC? We've got your back.
Yes. Let's go.
We'll take it. Can we get you to even say Fly Eagles Fly?
I don't think I can do that, but
okay.
I am going to hold the wings out.
We'll take that.
See, I'm holding the wings out right now.
We got DeMarcus Ware, former Cowboys great, and, of course, Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos, now with NFL Network, to hold out the wings. We didn't get a Fly Eagles Fly, but, you
got the wings, though.
We're more than willing to get everyone on the bandwagon this week.
Right.
So, DeMarcus Ware, Cowboys great. Thank you very much for joining us in our continuing coverage of Super Bowl 52 here on PhiladelphiaEagles.com.